everyone. For today's episode of Meet the Community, I am very happy to welcome a very special guest that you all probably already know. She is known as the Comic Queen on Instagram. Hi, Nat. How are you?
Hi. Hey, Jen. I'm doing okay. I'm doing pretty good, I guess.
Yeah? I mean, it's better than doing bad, I guess.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah. I've been better, but I've been worse, so I'm just
Yeah.
eh.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I get that. I get that. So I hope that I hope that you're happy to be here though. I hope that you're I'm not
Oh,
too much of
yeah.
an imposition in your life.
No. I've been waiting since you first mentioned it to me. I was just like I wonder when we're gonna schedule it. I've been looking forward to it for a while since you told me about it. So,
Yay. I love talking with you. You're always like the best person on here. I love you.
oh, thank you. I love talking to you, and I've always you're like one of my favorite people on here, and it's
Yay. And fun fact also, when I first started my account, you at some point you shared in your stories your favorite like accounts, and you shared mine, and I was like at work that day, and I was almost crying to my coworkers like, oh my god, this girl, she just shared my account, and I love her so much, I admire her so much. It was like the biggest day
oh.
of my life.
Wow. Oh no. I love giving you like you're my first person to think of when I give shout outs. Like I love your reviews. I've always told you this. Like I love your reviews and your honesty and just everything about you. You're just a great person and I love you so much.
Oh, thank you. Well, it's the same for from me to you. I mean, you're always so authentic and real. Um, I like how you're not afraid to share how you feel on Instagram. Um, because I
Yeah.
think that's a really important part of the conversation. I love how you're really you're not fake, you know? Like you're
No.
authentic.
Yeah, it's it can be a problem as well as um I know a lot of people sometimes don't like hearing the truth, but I've always been honest. Like my whole life, I've always really shared how I felt or said um, how I feel towards something. Sometimes people don't like that, but at the end of the day, it's like it's not really like I feel. I don't know. I don't even know
But I
where to go
mean,
with that.
we need the truth, like
Yeah.
that's why I admire you so much, and that's why you are so important to me on Instagram, is because you tell the truth with no, like you don't, how can I say this, you don't like I said, you're not fake, you don't even try to fake things, you're always real, and that's something that we are lacking right now. In my opinion, we are lacking people who are not afraid to have real conversations, and that's why I think you as a person are really important in society, because you are not afraid to talk about real subjects.
Oh.
Oh
No, I'm gonna cry.
no, don't
Yeah.
cry, don't cry.
No. Yeah, I'll try not to. But I don't know. That's that's awesome to hear.
Yeah, well, that's why I'm here. I want to share with everyone that you are fantastic. But I mean, you have over 6,000 followers now, so I'm like, pretty much everyone already knows how fantastic you are.
Oh, I mean, I don't know. The amount of followers has never really mattered to me, and I've also shared to you once upon a time back then how overwhelming it is to try to
Yeah.
keep up with everybody and how exhausting it is to try to reply to messages and all that stuff. But I mean, I try to, it's nice to meet new people and talk comics and stuff, but it can get a little exhausting trying to keep up with everybody and everything. Sometimes I lose a lot of my first followers that I used to talk to a lot, and now I don't even see their posts anymore, and it bums me out because I'm just like, whatever happened, to so and so, and
Yeah. I
it's
don't know
it's
about
sad.
like I don't know about you, but I don't have as much as followers as you, but I'm really active and involved on my account, and sometimes it's exhausting. It feels like it's a full-time job, like plus my real full-time jobs. like doing everything, planning everything, answering everyone, sharing, commenting, liking, answering the
Yeah.
DMs. It's like it never stops. So yeah, I totally understand how it's overwhelming.
Yeah.
But I mean, do you do you still like doing your Instagram? Is this
No, I
something
do.
that
I
brings you
mean,
a lot of positivity, or it's more something that gives you anxiety?
like I never intended it to blow up, honestly. I never expected this type of, I guess, attention or following. I just posted me and my, hobby. Um, I enjoy it. I try to stay away from it as much as I can because it used to be to the point where I would have to answer every comment and, every message. Um, Now it's just to the point where I have to tell myself like they can wait or it can wait because that's not important right now. And I started realizing that when people would message me like, "Oh, thanks for answering," or um, "You're probably not gonna see this," or stuff like that, and I'm just like, "What do you mean?" Like I see all my messages. Like I'm not as important as people think or make me out to be. I'm just like a regular person like them and that collect and that like to talk comics. I have mentioned before that I've wanted to delete my Instagram and start over and just follow like the accounts that I just love and the people I love sharing and stuff. But it's just I don't know, starting over. Like I like my posts and everything,
Yeah,
but
you love your feed.
yes.
And you put a lot of
So
work into it and it shows,
yes.
so it would be a little bit like starting
Like I
over
did
would be
it,
like, oh,
yeah. Or like I did it for nothing and I never had an end goal. Like I said, I never did it to gain like a fan base or stuff like that. I just did it to share my love of comics.
yeah. But that's why I like you were actually one of the first account I found when I started my account myself, Life of a Geeky Mind. You were one of the first persons I started following, and I was like, this girl is so cool. She knows everything about comics, and it's pretty impressive. Like you have a really big collection.
But I don't. That's the thing. Like I don't know everything about comics, and I'm not afraid to tell you like, oh, I haven't read that, or I don't know so much about this character. But I love sharing what I do know and whatever I yeah, it's the collection. It grows. It's
How long
just
has it been?
it
Like,
never
when
stops.
did you start it?
It was 2009, so about like 11 years now.
Yeah, that's a long time.
Yeah, I think I didn't get like seriously into collecting where I would like look at my pulls until maybe 3 years after that. But I would that's when I started like picking up comics here and there, or I would order monthly, but it didn't get like serious until maybe a while after that.
And how would you describe yourself as a collector? Like, what do you like collecting? Do you prefer collecting CGC grades comics or something like that?
Um, Honestly, I like collecting, um, I guess what I like my favorite characters or my favorite series, or if there's some art that I like. Um, Slab wise, I try to keep those like if they're signed. Like if I have a book signed, I really would like for it to be certified and flabbed, just to have that like proven authenticity of it. So most of my slabs are books that are signed. I don't really just like to slab books just because I never intend to sell my books. Like I don't buy books to sell. I don't buy books to um,
You buy them for
for
yourself. You
stuff
buy
like
them
that.
to read them.
Yeah, I buy to yes, to read them or to collect them. And I've always had like the my long-term goal was to pass it on to my children and hopefully they get to enjoy it as much as I did. And by then they'll be like, wow, like I have this little piece of history that, or even if it means nothing, like this was a book that meant a lot to my mom. and I have it now, or I have a little piece of her, or they'll remember me through this hobby.
Yeah, that's cute. It makes me smile when you talk about your children because you sometimes post like in your stories. That's why I don't buy comics to my kids, and then it's like a picture of like a comic all like destroyed, and it makes me laugh.
Yeah. Yeah.
But are they
Yeah,
interested in it? Are they curious?
um my oldest, I never pushed it on any of them. And my oldest, I mean, I try to show them, like, I would show them like, hey, it's Batman, it's Superman, and they've seen it like all around the house since they were little. So my oldest, it was mostly like that was mom's thing. Like he knew who Batman was, he thought it was cool, but then I felt like he got kind of annoyed, just kind of like seeing him everywhere, like seeing superheroes everywhere, and was like, oh, okay, we're going to the comic store. Like, I don't want to do that. And he would get kind of annoyed. And my daughter, she likes reading like a lot. She loves reading books. So I started buying her like little DC superhero girls graphic novels and stuff, and she likes them, and she likes flipping through those girly type of comics, and she sees a pretty cover and My Little Pony and those kind of titles. But I know she might, but I think she'll go towards more of like the women in comics, superhero girls, and stuff. So I try to show her those type of books. And my youngest now, he's 2, he's about to be 3, and he's the one that has shown the most interest. He'll play with my action figures. I had him up here and I brought him down and I was like, here, like play with them. And I'll play with him and he'll ask me questions and be like, who's that? Who's that, mom? Who's that? Or he'll see Green Lantern and be like, look, 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 mom, mom, mom. And he's really interested. So I hope um, that doesn't, leave him as he grows up. And I think out of all 3 of them, he's the one that might be more into them. Yeah, so like recently I started showing them the animated series, Batman the animated series. I was just like, I grew up watching this show, you're gonna love it. So like I played it for him and we're on the first season right now, but I just want to share that piece of childhood that I had. And hopefully one of them will will like it and enjoy
One out
it.
of three, but that would be amazing. I'm sure like I mean my parents never showed interest in comic books like at all, like never and ever. But it would be I'm guessing that it's nice because I mean a lot of people. So for example, Maya, her dad collects comic, and she now collects comics too, right? So and it's nice to see her talk about her dad collecting comics. They are like they have this bond, like this family bond.
Yeah.
So I hope that your youngest will like share that same interest. But your
Yeah.
husband reads comics too, no?
No, no, he
No.
doesn't. And it's funny because most people assume that my collection is his or that he's the one that got me into them. And no, no, like way before I even met him, I was collecting comics, and he honestly doesn't really know much about it. Like considering, I mean, he'll watch the movie and stuff, like all the movies, but he doesn't really know a lot besides what he hears on the news or sees in the movies or that his friends talk about. And sometimes it's funny when he tries to talk comics with me because he'll be like, so there was this Green Lantern comic I saw, and I'll be like, oh yeah, like which one was it? And he was just like, I don't know, the one that had that like he tries to like talk about it, but like he doesn't know what to say, and I'm just like, oh okay, yeah, I think I read that one. And it's so funny. I just mess with him a lot,
That's
but
so cute.
yeah, he doesn't. He's not into comics and stuff. He likes video games. I mean, I do as well, and he's more into music and stuff like that.
But how did you start reading comics? Like, where does it come from?
Well, like I mentioned, I grew up watching these superheroes. Like I grew up watching these cartoons. I grew up on Batman the animated series, on Batman Beyond, X-Men, the animated series, Spider-Man. Like I used to watch these all the time, and I was really into them. Like me and my sister would record them on VHS. Like every time a new episode of like the Batman would come on, I remember like recording it on a blank VHS, and we would run out of room so fast that we would have to like choose what episode to record over, and we would just rewatch those videos over and over again. And it was just like a part of growing up. But I mean, comic wise, I remember reading Archie growing up and stuff, and it was never really, I never really saw comics as like, I saw superheroes, like I saw the cartoons and I knew who they were, but I never connected it to like comics and that they came from comics. And I didn't really, I guess, understand that until later. Um, so collecting comics, I think, was around the time I guess I started seeing it around me more. And, I would go to like the entertainment stores and I would see the books on the shelves and I was like, oh, okay, like what's this? And I would see the book and it would catch my eye and I'd be like, this looks cool. Like I want to read it. So that's how I kind of started.
Oh,
And I
that's
mean,
cool.
here where I'm from, it's a small town, so we don't have like comic book store. We didn't have a comic book store until 2 years ago, and we had Hastings. So every time I would go to Hastings for, regular books, because I love reading, just um, books, and I would walk around, look at the movies, look at the record players and the records and the music and the games, and then I would pass by and I would see the comics. And I think I don't know, I just picked one up and
You were like drawn
got
to
hooked.
it.
Yeah, I started buying more and more, and
And
here
then
we
it just
are.
became an addiction. Yeah. It's just, I
Yeah,
feel like we all start like this. Oh, I'm just gonna buy one. And then, like, years later, it's like three bookshelves and like thousands of comic boxes everywhere.
yeah. And
um,
see, that's the
yeah.
thing I hated about Hastings, that not a lot of people here from this town read comics or were interested in it. So they didn't really have a lot of titles. So that's when I started like looking for them. And that's when I found Midtown online and was like, oh, guess what? I can order books online. And I made my account and I just started ordering books. And I mean, I was like 16 and I was just like with my card making my account and ordering all these books and trying to wait for my package for it to come in and order my books and stuff. Yeah, it was awesome.
That's so cool. I wish I mean, sometimes I just think about how like this excitement of when I started reading comics, like that first time I went to a comic store and I kind of miss it. Like this, like this new like excitement tingling effect. I don't know how to describe it. Like right now, today it's just like okay, I'm going to the store, buying my like getting my pull list and everything. Like it's just it's not as exciting anymore. Like it's not new anymore. Sorry, Boo Boo is really like
I
into
love
it.
your cat.
But I mean, I still buy more than like it's like waves, sometimes I'm like, oh, okay, I'm gonna buy everything, and then no, not this month. Today this month I'm not buying anything, and then it comes up. It's like it goes with I feel it goes with my mood, obviously. Sometimes I'm more
Yeah,
excited
I
than
get what
others.
you mean. I think that's around the time when you should start looking at like older books, because I know I've done that where I'm just like, what books haven't I read? Or like what books do other people recommend?
Yeah.
And I started looking into those, and that's what happened like these last couple of months, that I started buying all these trades. That I'm just like, you know what? I'm gonna reread books. Like there's some books I hadn't read like for 7 years, and I was like, I remember I liked this, but I don't remember why. Like I'm gonna reread all these books. So I just started buying a bunch of trades, and they're all here now. I'm so happy I organized them, and I started rereading. And yeah, sometimes I even saw the story differently than when I first read it, and I was just like, wow, like I didn't I didn't see it that way the first time, or maybe I missed this, and now I understand it better. because I know what's going to happen or something like that,
Those
which
are the
it's awesome.
greatest stories, though. When you read something for the first time and then you read it another time and you understand something new, it's like always
Yeah.
like the best stories because I don't know, you learn something of yourself every time you read it, which is really great.
It also has a lot to do with, the time you read it. Like I said, if you
Yeah,
read something 7 years ago and opposed to now, you're a different person and you see it differently.
yeah, exactly. That's nice.
Mhm.
I love that. Why did you started your Instagram account? Because you went to purchasing a bunch of comics to posting them on Instagram. Like what was this decision behind this? Was it just for fun? Was there a point to it?
Honestly, I mean, like I would get my monthly pool every month, and I'd be so excited. I'd be like, my Midtown comics are here. I would open the box and I would lay them out and I would snap a picture on my Instagram. And after a while, I realized that a lot of my Instagram pictures were just comics. And I felt like I was annoying, like my family and my friends. And like they were just seeing, like with people that post a lot of food that you're just like, why are you posting their food?
Yeah.
Stuff like that. You're just like, I felt like I was annoying a lot of people. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to make an Instagram just for my comic book posts. So I did that. So my regular account used to be the Donut Queen because I love donuts, and my husband used to always say I was the Donut Queen. So it was the Donut Queen, and I was like, I'm gonna make a second account and name it the Comic Queen. And I did, and I started posting like, oh, I got this book post, or oh, my post here post. And I started getting like likes from people and comments, and then I started looking at their profiles and seeing that there was an actual community, and then people started tagging me, and I was like, oh wow, there's other people that are like posting comics and are interested in my posts. Like that's awesome. I can talk comics with them and talk about the story. So I started following them, and then all of a sudden, I guess the algorithm caught up and started showing me more accounts, and it just became this comic community and this comic account that I found, and I was just like, wow, like where have y'all been all my life?
That's nice. And how do you feel about the community? Do you think like I mean, because it's quite a large community and
Yeah.
but how do you feel especially as someone who doesn't have any well you used to not have any local store and stuff like that, do you feel like it helped you connect more with others, or it was just something it
Um,
was just like a regular social media account?
I think it was more of a social media account because even now I haven't made many purchases through Instagram or anything like that. Um, I've sold a couple of books, but I mean, I can count the number of books I've bought and sold on like my hands, like both my
Mm-hmm.
hands. Like I haven't really, I mean, I've been on there for like 2 years, probably, yeah, 2 years or three, I don't know. But yeah, in that amount of time, I haven't really used it to sell or buy. I've used it more to like engage with others and talk comics and see what they have to say, and
Did you learn a
that's what I
lot?
like about it. Um, yeah, I could say, yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. And were you like you learned a lot, but like did you discover, I mean not learn, sorry, wrong choice. Did you discover a lot of comics? Did it help opening the doors of the comic world, or it was just another way to just communicate with other fans?
It was more of a way to communicate. Occasionally, I would see a book that I really liked the cover that I hadn't heard of before, and I was like, "Oh my God, like what is that?" And then I would go search for it. But I don't know, aside from that, I really like asking the community, I guess, like what are your favorites or what do y'all recommend to see if maybe there's something I haven't read. And I think I mean, I've always been big on indie comics, but I think it's opened more on my independent collecting
Mm,
and seeing that side of the comic world that is not just superheroes, that there's another side to it.
My favorite side.
Yeah, and it's actually I realized, when I was organizing, like I have more independent titles, and half of my pool is more independent titles than even DC now. Like it's I don't know, it's crazy. I think I enjoy it more. I enjoy the storytelling, and
It's
um,
different.
it is different.
It's
Definitely.
more, well, for me, indie comics have more freedom of different, like they have more freedom, so it gives place to more originality and like different stories, which is something that I really enjoyed. I'm always looking for the most original stories when I read a comic.
Yeah, exactly. With superheroes, it's not that you can't make a new story, but even when you change something, you hear this huge uproar from the fans saying like, "Why is this changed? Why is this, different? Like, we don't like this."
Yes,
And
thank you
it's
for
like
saying it.
a lot of stories also have been retold and told and told and told. Like, let's say, for example, Batman, and there's only so much you can tell or say. You're just like get exhausted and you're just like, okay, that's a lot of Batman. Like, you know, so sometimes something amazing comes along though, and it changes the Marvel or DC universe, and that's awesome. But you're always gonna hear something from the fans like that they don't like. You're always gonna have that side that's like,
Yeah.
oh, it's not like it used to be. I don't like it. Or some people might say, oh, I like this change. That's cool.
Some of them are
But
really
when
conservatives. Like they don't like a lot of changes. It needs to be like in the
yeah.
same guidelines all the time, which is honestly something that I don't like. I don't like reading always the same thing and the same guidelines. But oh well, I mean, everyone has their
I mean,
own.
there's different, yeah, there's different people. I mean, to be honest, with certain heroes, I feel that way. I'm just like, you can't really change their origin, or you can't really change their person like that. Like, I understand where they're coming from. Story wise, I mean, yeah, it's okay to do like a reboot here and there. I mean, when they started like the New 52, I was really, really upset. I was just like, why are they restarting everything? It was a huge thing, and I was just like so annoyed. I remember that so much. I was so mad. But yeah, sometimes it's necessary though, because like I said, there's different types of like it's just it'll be like a different time, it'll be different kinds of people, different events happening, and the world changes, so it's natural that books have to change as well.
Yeah. I like that. I like how you said it. You're really calm. Like these subjects, when I talk with other people about like these subjects of like the fandom and like changing things in the stories and stuff like that, I get really like inflamed, like I get really mad and stuff like that. But you're always really calm and you know how to use the words to like have a conversation without yelling at people, which is something I really admire because I'm not like that.
That's yeah, that's interesting. Never.
But it's true. You're really calm. I like how you think about things. It's like it's refreshing, you know? Tell me, what's your favorite story aside from Green Lantern? What's your favorite
Oh
either superheroes or comics or whatever? And you
no,
can't say Green Lantern.
it's Green, it's Green Lantern. Like, I'm sorry. Um,
Like
I
okay,
don't
your
know. I
second
mean,
favorite, like your second best.
um, my second favorite superhero is Batman, but the same with Batman. Like, he has a lot of great stories that I always recommend. It would be like a whole list, top 10. But um, I would have to say maybe Saga. Saga is something that I'm always, always, always kind of pushing on people, especially when they're like, I've never read Saga. I'm just like, please read it. Like, you have to.
The
I
thing though
think
with
it's
Saga is like I love it, but I can't reread it. Like I read it once and I can't go back. Like it wrecked me. Like it's way too intense for me. Like it gives me too much emotions. Every
oh,
volume is too intense for me.
that's
And
good though.
it's
That's
really
really good.
good, but I'm too like I feel like I'm too involved with the characters. And I feel
Oh,
like I'm the like because I see a lot of people being like I read Saga for the 7th time or 10th time. I'm like, no, I read it once and that's enough for me.
I honestly have read it once as well too. I tried rereading it. I think I got halfway through the first volume, but I didn't continue it. It would have to be like a large gap in between stories for me to reread them, like gap of time.
Yeah.
Uh, but Saga, I still recommend it to people. Like I said, especially people that haven't read it. Like if you
Yeah,
haven't
it's
read
great.
it, yeah, it's gonna be eye-opening. You're gonna be like, whoa, like how come I haven't read this? Like, and I think everyone should read it.
Yeah, definitely. It's a must read. It just like heads up, it's gonna wreck you. Because it's too intense. I don't know. But I mean, I don't know why, because I love a lot of dramatic stories, or like, for example, Middle West is really intense too. I love it, but it doesn't bring the same. I guess I'm maybe Saga because Brian K. He's good to write characters that makes you like you feel connected with the characters in Saga, and I feel that's why like it's a little bit too intense for me, because there's so much happening without saying anything, like without saying too much, but there's so much happening that I'm so sad to see what's happening to everyone. I don't know if I'm saying this right, but yeah, Saga is really intense for me.
It's like Invincible. Invincible is kind of like that too. There's just so many likable characters, and the world that that is built is just really intense, and the war that's going on and everything is just uh, really interesting. And Invincible is one of my recommended reads as well. I really like Invincible, and
Yeah,
it's long.
I'll add it to my list. But you're not the first one to recommend it to me. But I really need to get to it. Uh, a lot of people recommended Invincible to me. Um, I don't know. I'm scared of starting these stories though, because it's really long and
Oh
it's really
no, you'll read
intense.
through it so fast. Like, yeah, that's what happened to me. I was just like, oh my God, I'm in volume 7 already, and there's just like what 20 something. Like, yeah, it's long, but it's so good.
All right, I'll add it to my wish
And it
list.
gets better. It gets better. Like you're like, okay, it's good. It's good. And then you're like, whoa, it's really good. And you're like, oh my God, it got better. It got better. It got better. And you're just like, wow, like is it gonna be better like the next volume? So then you go in and start reading it and you just don't stop.
Those are the best stories. Okay,
They
I'll
are.
add it to my wish list, and in 2 months when I'm ready to buy comics again, I'll buy
I
it.
don't want to overhype it either though, because apparently I do that a lot.
I don't think so. I mean, it never happened to me that you overhyped a comic, I guess. Because the last time that you really, for me, the last time that you really hyped a comic was Middle West,
Die. Oh.
and then like, or Die, yeah, both of them, and I was like, whoa, like, wow. When I read it the first time, I was like, wow, she is so right.
Yeah, because they're good. They're great stories.
They're great stories. Although that Die, the second volume was a little bit disappointing for me. Um,
Yeah.
but I hope it gets better with the third one. I don't read them in singles anymore. I just buy
Yeah,
them for the
even
covers.
yeah, same here. I actually haven't read the last like 3 issues or so because I hate how lost I become. Like I
Yeah,
open up the book and I'm just like, well, wait, what's happening? Like what's going on? And it makes me not want to read it because I forget what's happening
yeah.
in the book and in the world, and I'm just like, wait, like what was that? Who is that? Where were they going? And I don't like that. So it is a better uh, read through like trade.
Yeah, definitely. For sure. There's too many details.
Yes,
And characters. There's too many characters. That's why I think I get
that too.
lost.
Yeah.
Yeah. How would you recommend for new readers? How should they start? What's your biggest like advice if there's someone listening right now and they want to get started in comics but they don't know how, where, when?
I get people messaging me all the time, honestly. Um, and someone today actually just messaged me and they told me give me your top 10 list. And I started just throwing out titles and they're like, whoa, 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 okay, like that's awesome. So, I think you need to start maybe like with what do you like? Like, do you like do you gravitate more towards like a horror genre, or do you like more of a superhero genre, or do you like fantasy? Like, it's just kind of try to start there and figure out like what do I enjoy more, and then try to find a a recommended book in that category, and then kind of just go from there. Like maybe get other recommended titles or pick up other books from the same writer and see if you'll like those as well. And I mean, it's your knowledge will expand fast, and you'll start seeing other books, and you'll start just feeling it. Like it'll just come to you, and you'll just be like, oh, you know what? Like I like this book, but then I didn't like this one. So, you look at the art and you're like, maybe I'll like it. I'll like this book. And I mean,
It's all
it's all like a
about
part of
trial
a
and errors.
process.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like trying something, trying to find out did I like it, did I not? What did I like about it? What did I not like
Yes.
about it? And then just like go from there and doing like a map. Then it's just gonna guide
Yeah.
you to
Yeah, that way,
comics.
like, you have to understand what you like and what you want. And I mean, it's always good to have recommended reads or asking people um, as well.
Yeah, you would. But
Mhm.
I mean, I have a hard time with that because a lot of the time I have like I get thrown recommendations like, "Hey, you should read this. You should read this." But sometimes like I know I won't like it, because it's not in my field. It's not in my like I
But
know
how
what
do you
the
know you won't like it?
I don't know. It's like every time I've tried to read Marvel or DC, I get disappointed. You know, it needs to
Mhm.
be like a different story. For example, Mr. Miracle that I really loved, but it was really different of what I've seen before in Marvel and DC. You know?
Okay, yeah. Um, the problem I think with like a superhero comic is that the world is just already so expanded,
Mm.
and it's just been years and years of this world building that's been happening, and it takes a long time to understand. And if you weren't really into it, like in this part, you're not really going to be into it in this part.
Yeah.
And it's sometimes the storytelling, yeah, will pull you in, but at the same time, it's all connected. Like it's always going to be this ongoing long story that's taking place, and you're going to have to read previous issues and story arcs to kind of understand what's happening and how
So
they
my
got there.
I have a question though. So for example, I want to start reading Batman right now. Where do I start? How do I know where to start?
I would recommend personally Batman Year One. That's my favorite Batman story, and that's his like origin story, like how like it was year one. There's like year one, year two, and year three. There's different years through Batman, and year one is one of my favorites personally. I know some people don't like it, but I think it's my favorite, definitely, my personally. Um, but
But like for any
it,
superheroes, how do you know? That's my thing. Like how do you know where to start? There's so many.
well, see, like I remember with the reboot of New 52, they try to make it to where they're going to restart this universe and get new readers at a new starting point. They started all the numbers at zero. Okay, we're going to start at zero. Anyone can start, anyone can join. We're going to retell everything from origin story to what happened, and who is who and what are they doing. And they it was like a good starting point, but at the same time, it's I don't know how to explain it. Like you still have to read previous books, not to understand the story, but more to like understand the character and see what it is about them that you would want to read. Like like Green Lantern, my favorite Green Lantern story and how I got into comics was because of Jeff Johns. Like Jeff Johns' Green Lantern was this huge, I think like 8 year long uh, storyline world building that he did with the lanterns, and to me it was just mind blowing. It was amazing. I was so invested, and it actually changed the whole DC universe. Like he impacted the whole DC universe, where all the other books started revolving around what was happening with Hal Jordan and the Lanterns. So to me, that was amazing. Like it it was a huge event that just caught my attention. And at the same time, that's how I got into Green Lantern, and I was like, wow, he's my favorite. But then when I went back and read other stories, it's good, and I enjoy reading Hal, and I see um you see him in a different light though. Like um you start realizing like, oh, okay, like he was a different type of person then, or whoever was writing him then saw him this way. And he's still the same character and he's still the same person, but sometimes there's a story or a writer that will just push up the character to what they're meant to be.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, like that's what I'm saying. With any character, like it's good to read a story, but then also look at other writers or other arcs that have happened
Because you
with
can
that
maybe
same
connect with the
character. And
character in a different writing style.
yeah, and see like what era of that character you liked. Like you
Mm.
can say, oh, I liked Batman when so and so was writing it, and I liked Green Lantern when so and so was writing it. Like right now, honestly, the the Morrison run of Green Lantern, I dropped it from my pool, and that has never happened. Like in the last 10 years, I have not dropped Green Lantern, and to me that was a big deal because I was just not invested enough, and I was just like, I'm not liking how this Green Lantern story is being written right now. And it's okay for me to say that, but it kind of hurt because I always expected Green Lantern to be great because I had like this,
Mm-hmm.
I had him this high pedestal already. Like, oh, this is how this is how Jeff Johns wrote him, and he just like did this amazing job. That's what I expected everyone to follow. And it's hard though. It's hard finding that story, but it's it's just reading. Like I don't understand. Like I don't know how to explain it. I meant like it's not easy to comprehend. It's just like reading it and then just you seeing what you like personally.
Yeah, I see that. I can understand that. I'm just, I don't know. I mean, I know you're right, but I'm still like on the fence about starting a Marvel or DC series or characters. I'm kind of like, you know what? I'm gonna wait a little again. Like, I'm not sure. It just feels
But
so
I mean,
overwhelming to me.
also if you're not into superheroes or stuff like that, then it's like okay. Like it's
Yeah.
okay to not read superhero comics or pick up Marvel and DC and say, I don't read Marvel or DC. Like I gave up on Marvel a long time ago, honestly. Like I tried and I did pick up titles, throughout the years I tried reading stories. It never grabbed my attention as much as I would like. And so it's okay to be like, I'm just not into that.
Yeah, I get that. I mean, yeah. I'm not sure if I like the superhero because I mean, would you say that Black Hammer is a superhero style?
Yeah, but it's not, like I said, overwhelming, such as like the DC and Marvel superheroes, because those have like a long backstory. Like I mentioned, they have
Mm-hmm.
been around for so long, and there's just so much to know and remember or to bring up when someone's talking. They're like, "Oh, did you ever read this story? Like, or this origin, or this writer?" And you're just like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa!" Like, no.
Yeah, so
There's
to
just
read
like
Marvel or
different
DC,
different types.
you have to love searching for like you have to love having all this background information.
It's kind of like the Batman movies, like you have different directors and different movies, interpreting Batman differently, and people say, oh, the Michael Keaton's my favorite Batman, or no, I liked Bell, and it's okay to have like your own favorite Batman. Same with like the books. There's just so many different stories.
Mm-hmm.
It's okay to say like this is my favorite. Black Hammer, it's this whole different it was this whole different new little world, and it was fresh. And that's what I think makes it so good. That you're just like, oh, this is fresh. This is something I haven't read before. It's the same
Yeah.
with Invincible.
Oh yeah, I get that. I like that. We are almost running out of time because IGTV has a limit, so unfortunately I have to respect that because it's gonna be a pain in
Oh,
the ass to edit. um, I just wanna. I have a question. What
okay.
important accounts do you want us to follow, like on Instagram?
I saw that question.
It's
um,
coming every time, so
I'm gonna have to message you, I guess, everyone. There's a lot of people. Like, there's a
yeah, it's
lot of
hard.
great accounts on there, honestly. Yeah. I try to avoid doing like top 10 accounts and stuff like that. Um, but
And that doesn't mean top 10 accounts. It can just be
no,
like
no, no, I
people that you really
know.
appreciate, and that's it. It doesn't
Even
have to be like a.
even then, there's so many people like Jen. There's just a lot. But for sure, I guess I'll give a few shout outs. I'll give a shout out to. This is funny because okay, so I'll give a shout out to. I'll just give names and then I'll give you the tag. So
Perfect.
huge huge shout out to Nick, um, Dan and Jen from Comic Shop News, Lucy, Abby and Donut, um, Carla, Mars. I love her so much.
She's
Um,
adorable.
she is. I love her account so much. And her videos, they're amazing. I
Yes.
love her reviews.
So
Yeah.
aesthetically
Um,
pleasing.
yes. Yeah, she's great. Who else? Dave from Everything Batman. Um, Andrew.
Yeah.
Um, I'm trying to remember the top people I hold long conversations with, but I want to give you a shout out. But I'll try to think of more accounts that I have recently came across that I'm really liking, like how they, I guess their aesthetic, and I'll give you those tags as well.
Awesome. I'm excited because this is my favorite part because I get to discover people too. So that's why I'm always asking because I want to like expand my horizons a little bit and discover new people because that's why I love Instagram so much. But yeah, so do you have anything else that you would like to talk about? Anything you want to add before we conclude this awesome video?
No, I don't think so. I mean, I don't know.
You're good? Amazing. Well, I want to thank you for doing this with me. Like I said, you're one of my
Thank
favorite
you
person here.
for inviting me.
Yeah. I like I said, probably everyone already know you, but you're so cool and fantastic that I really want to share. I mean, you have an awesome personality, and it's important to share that personality because you are great, you are smart, and you are funny, and I love you very much.
Aw, thank you. That means a lot. That really does. I don't see myself like that at all. I am just a boring old regular person
No, I
that
wish you would see yourself as I see you. Like I remember like that time, like I said, that time that first time I had like 100 followers and then you shared my account and I was like my world is exploding, like it was like, oh my God, the Comic Queen just shared my thing in her stories. Like it was amazing. It was like you made my whole week that time.
Aw, it makes me really happy to hear that I could do something like that. But honestly, it makes me a little upset when people think of me as like this, I don't know, like high important person or something. Like, because
Yeah.
I'm not. I'm not. I feel like I'm just like one of y'all in the community. And sometimes people don't message me or they avoid having conversations with me because they think I might be too maybe arrogant. And I'm just like, no, I'm like the exact
No, you're
opposite
actually
of that.
really
Like,
sweet. Like that's something that's really nice because you are not arrogant. Um you're passionate, but you're not passionate like I'm sorry to say this, but like those assholes that thinks they're always right. Like you're open to conversation, but you're open to sharing and learning, and that's something that's fantastic because it proves that you are a true fan, you know? Like you are a true comic reader, you are a true comic fan because you're always wanting to discuss things with other people. You don't think like this is my opinion and that's it. Like that I'm right, you're wrong. And I hate those people. That's why I love you so much because you are so far from that.
you're awesome. You're one of my favorite people as well. And
Thank you.
I want to, I have, it's funny because with different people actually, like Mars, I've been wanting to send her something for the longest time. I have like little piles of comics for different people, like Adriana actually. Oh, shout out to you too. Yeah, like Pretty Nerdy. I have like her stack, and like that comic girl. I have like a little stack, and I wish I could be sending out books to a lot of people all the time, even like
But
with my giveaways.
shipping is hard.
I just want to, I just want to like share and give, but um, I mean, sadly, like that's not, uh, like it takes time and
It
you
takes time, but it
know,
takes money too because I mean, especially for me, I'm in Canada and whew, the rates are incredible.
yeah, like with you, I've been wanting to send you something for the longest time, but I'm like waiting. I was actually waiting to have a conversation with you because I'm just like I want to know what she needs or what she doesn't have.
I
And
don't
then like
need
I saw you got
anything.
your
Like if
Middle
you think
West
I
book.
need something, I don't. I don't need
No,
anything.
like or maybe what's on your wish list or maybe something that I can help you with. And I don't know, but like I know Canada like shipping is so much. Like I sent a package to Corey last year and I was just like, oh my God, it cost more than what I was sending.
Yeah.
But I wanted to make it I don't know, I want to feel like it's ready. Like, okay, it's worth sending.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you put a little bit of yourself in it, so it's normal that you want to like be like it needs to be ready. It needs to be exactly what you want it to be before sending it. It's normal. I'm like that too. I have me too. I have a couple packages that are just waiting on the shelf because they're just missing this tiny little thing that I don't know yet what it is, but
Yeah,
I'm gonna find it.
yes, exactly.
Well, thank you very much, Nat. I really, like I said, I really appreciate you. I guess that's it for today for this Meet the Community video. I'm gonna be back soon with another guest, a very special guest again. But I am incredibly grateful to have Nat here today. And if you don't already follow her, you have to follow her right now. She is amazing and her posts are fantastic, and it's something that you need in your feed every single day. So I'm telling you, go follow her. And on that note, I wish you a very, very happy evening.